Moreover, I would argue that the discrimination, the problems that black people face today, for the most part, have very, very little to do with the heritage of slavery, with the heritage of discrimination in our country. You know, in 1925 in Harlem, 85% of black kids lived in two-parent families. Today in Harlem, maybe you'll find 30% if you're lucky. Now, this great change can't be attributed to slavery, it can't be attributed to racial discrimination, and that is, I think that too much of our focus is on discrimination and the heritage of slavery, as opposed to how are we going to cope with the immediate problems that we face in our communities today.
From San Diego, California, Professor Walter Williams, how much political progress have blacks made in America since the death of Dr. Martin Luther King?
Well, in terms of elective offices, there's been significant political power, political progress. But very often, more often than not, that political power has not been translated into the things that blacks need, like better schools, more safer communities. You know, some of the cities in our country whose mayors and city councilmen are predominantly black, they're some of our cities with the major problems. Now, I personally don't think that political power in and of itself is a solution to the problems.
Professor Ronald Walters, same question. How much progress?
Well, I think we've made a lot of progress. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was sort of a first stage, and with that we started out 1,000 black elected officials. We now have about 6,651. So we've got a large number of black elected officials, mayors of many large cities and so forth. I think the challenge now is to try to leverage political power and economic power. And I think to that extent I would agree with Mr. Williams that that's our next frontier.
Professor, I remember being told in school the way you get something done is to get people elected, and then you get the voting power, and then you accomplish these things. Why hasn't that happened?
Well, I don't buy that hypothesis. That is, if you look at Japanese Americans who almost by any socioeconomic measure of socioeconomic success, they stand at the top of the pile in America. Japanese, they don't even have political power in areas where they're the most numerous, such as San Francisco. Or you find Jews in America. Jews, before they established themselves as political contenders, strong political contenders, they had a lot of economic power. Now, on the other hand, if you look at some of the white ethnics, namely the Irish established themselves politically in many of our cities. They ran the machines, but the Irish were the slowest rising among the ethnic groups. So I don't buy the proposition that in order to get economic power, a first-order condition is to get political power. It may be the reverse.
So let's talk about economic progress. Professor?
Well, I think the economic progress of blacks has been phenomenal. I would say progress in general among blacks. I think blacks are the only oppressed people in history that have accomplished so much over some of the highest barriers in such a short period of time. That is, if you could resurrect slaves, they would find that the grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren and granddaughters are mayors of the world's largest cities. If you considered, if you looked at black income each year and you added it up and just considered black people as a nation, black people would be the 9th richest nation on the face of this earth. Which is not saying that there are many, many problems that remain, but black people have made phenomenal progress.
No question.
Economic.
Yes, no question about it. When you look at, for example, even the harshest period of our subjugation in this country at the turn of the century, it was also the fastest period of black capital formation. So from a people who W.E.B. Du Bois said a long time ago came into their citizenship naked and penniless, what we have today is a people who have pretty much by their own, the dint of their own sweat, have achieved a tremendous status in this country.
Slavery and discrimination in America, that is history. Nothing can be done about it. And I believe in that sense he's right that we need not focus all of our energies on it.